Hello everyone, welcome to another Starcraft 2 replay. This one's going to take place on Shattered Temple. I am the red Terran spawning in the 6 o'clock position. In the 12 o'clock we have my blue opponent, Emperor, diamond level Terran. Emperor Earth. That seems to contradict each other. When I think Earth, I'm thinking of like some guy who recycles and plays his guitar by himself in the park wearing like a hemp belt. And Emperor's like, I'll rule you with an iron fist and steal your sister to be my 14th wife. This doesn't seem to fit. But, yeah, theme of this video is going to be Reapers. We're going to do a quick match here. I'm going to close this so you can't tell it's only 6 minutes long, but whatever. Just to go over some of the basics, and then kind of an interesting match I had versus Reaper play on the ladder. So, just a typical opener, you know, supply depot, barracks, gas, orbital commands, doing all of it late and lazily and terrible, because that's my style. Also beginning to send out my scout. I like to send out my scout around the same time I start throwing down my barracks. But since no scouts arrived, I assume I was in close position to them, so I'm going to scout backwards. 9 o'clock first, then 12. You'll have to excuse me, I do have a cold. Yeah, flying back from vacation, being on a plane with 100 people in recycled air, that's a good way to get sick. And if it wasn't that, it was probably when I got back and I was walking down the street one day and I kind of realized, you know what, it's a little bit chilly. And I look around, everyone's wearing like jeans and long sleeve shirts with spring jackets and stuff, and I'm just still kind of sporting my t-shirt and shorts because I'm like, oh yeah, it's not 33 degrees and a beach in Crete. I'm back in Toronto, and fall is on its way. That's 9 degrees Fahrenheit for you metric challenged people. Yeah, so, sorry, Reapers, right. So I did get in here and I scouted. First of all, a big mistake by Emperor is that if you're going to do this build, what he's doing right now is what I would call like one of those fastest possible builds, which is always terrible. Like fastest possible mutas or fastest possible Dark Templar, because when you're doing it that way, you're sacrificing too much. And all you have to do is build a marine out of your barracks before you build a tech lab. Kill off any scouting CV that's in your base, then prevent any more from coming in. Keep on the bottom of your ramp. Then you can have the tech lab and start pumping Reapers. But he just let me come right in and see the tech lab. So, what can you decide when you see a tech lab on a barracks this early? First thing I would think would be Reaper play, because that happens so often in TvT. Even if it's not all-in Reaper, it's going to be like a Scout Reaper. Scout Reaper is so nice, because you know I scout with like a barracks, which is 150 minerals. Reaper is only 50-50. Plus it's fast, it gives you map control, you can harass, kill SCVs, it does even decent versus Marines, you can take the Zalnaga. It's a good scout unit. And the next thing I would think would be bioplay. You may say, well, maybe he's making a tech lab to swap a factory on it quickly, but that doesn't really make sense, because first of all, you build a factory before the tech lab. And then you don't really need a tech lab on a factory this early in the game, because you don't really have the gas to support, like, tanks in quick siege mode, or there's no reason to get like blue flame upgrade that quick, or well, I guess you could, but I don't know, I just don't see it. But I also saw a second barracks, so I know it's going to be either bioplay or Reapers. So what's the next indicator here? Look at the tech lab. It is not spinning. If it were spinning, then you would be thinking stim pack or concussive shell or combat shield, all things that think bioplay. But when it's not spinning, it's probably going to be Reapers. So I'm like 5,000% sure it's Reapers here, but since there's no Marine, I may as well become 10% or 10,000% sure, and just wait to see what unit pops out. And boom, it's a Reaper, so now I know it's Reaper. And I even saw the second tech lab on the second barracks, which now I know it's going to be like Mass Reaper. So, Mass Reaper is actually quite good versus like a 1-1-1 build like I'm doing now, because you're teching up so you don't have a large army, and what can you build? You have a naked barracks, so Marines, a naked factory, so Hellions, those are all light units, all things that Reapers can actually fight straight up pretty good. Plus the Reapers have the speed and mobility and the harass stuff that make them awesome too. So there's two ways to defend. You can throw all your units into your mineral line, then when the Reapers arrive to attack your SCVs, you just kind of box and A move. But you gotta be pretty good with microing your SCVs or you're going to start losing them. You gotta pull back the ones he's attacking, and with Mass Reaper you're just bound to lose SCVs in that process. But you'll never get overrun if you have like some Marines and SCVs. But the way I like to defend it is just kind of guess where he's going to jump in. Like, it's probably going to be on the edges. Like, here's an edge here, and here's an edge here. And then what I would do is I would put your first two Marines at the most likely edge, and then your next two at the next one. Had he just jumped in right at my ramp, like, probably what he would think would be the most dangerous place, that's the place I'd never have defense when I'm expecting Reaper play. So the Reaper's going to arrive, and I want to talk about Marine positioning because I have it wrong here. You're going to see he jumps up, there you go, dances and jumps up, gets shot, and runs away and lives. How you want to position your SCVs is actually kind of key. Say this is the cliff edge you expect the Reapers to jump in on. What you want to do is keep your Marines like right here. If you have them too far back like I did, I like having them back here, he gets to jump up, and then all of a sudden he starts getting attacked, so he runs away. If you have him too far forward, say you have him like right here, then what happens is the Reaper starts getting hit on the low ground, and he turns around and runs away before he even starts jumping up. But if you have your Marines positioned just nicely like here, he won't start getting attacked until he jumps up. So he starts jumping up, it's like, I'm under attack, I'm under attack, I'm under attack, let's run away. And he starts jumping down, I'm under attack, I'm under attack. And there's like basically no way for one Reaper to avoid dying to two Marines at that point. So a little fail on my part, and this guy survives, and if he keeps him in the back on the following battles, he can do well. I considered running out one Marine, because I knew he'd be at the Zelnaga, but I knew he'd have Reaper reinforcements, and it's just, they're too fast, and he has too much vision for me to actually get that snipe on it. So next is, I wanted to leave two behind, but I didn't. Next is I moved all my Marines down to this side, because I thought this was the most likely jump-in zone. And here's like a metagame thing that I would advise to everyone, even pros, even Starcraft 1 pros. I see it in their videos, and they never do it. Like just the other day I saw the OSL finals, and Jangby came in with a shuttle with a Reaver, and he comes in this way, and who was it, Fantasy had like 3 Goliaths here defending it. So the Goliaths shoot the Reaver, the transport away, and then he goes to look around and try to come in somewhere else with the Reaver. But I think the best place to come in the second time is exactly where you came in the first time. Come back here, because Fantasy's going to be like, alright, I stuffed him here, now where's he going to go next? Maybe over here. Like, it's just sort of a metagame thing. If you leave and come back in the same place, it's like the least likely place that your opponent would expect you to come in. So he does it again, he comes over here, and this time I'm going to be set up a little bit better position-wise. I'm not going to start attacking until he commits to the jump up, and at that point he's just going to get slaughtered. So he's jumping up, and now he's getting shot by everything. And that's the end of his Reaper play. I got my Tech Lab Stargate, or Tech Lab Starport ready, and he basically just GG's and leaves. So yeah, just some tips there. If you want to scout for the barracks with the Tech Lab, that should make you think Reapers. You should prepare for it when you see that. But especially if the Tech Lab isn't spinning. If it's spinning, it's probably outplay. If it's not spinning, it's probably Reapers. And it could just be a Scout Reaper, but the same thing. You want to put 2 Marines to the most likely jump-up zone, and then the next 2 Marines to the second most likely. Or you can put all your Marines in your mineral line and just try to micro your SCVs and Marines well when the Reaper arrives. Yeah, now obviously position your Marines near the edge of the cliff, but not right up against the edge, because you want him to commit to jumping up before he starts getting attacked. And yeah, that's about all I gotta say about that. Reapers are pretty awesome if you catch your Terran opponent off guard, especially if he's doing a 1-1-1 build. You can basically just kill him, or you can just make one Reaper and it makes an awesome scout unit. So now we're going to jump into the second game, which is I think a much more well done Reaper play, and we can see how that game works out. Alright, so we're back for game 2 in this video, and I did game 1 a while ago, and I don't really know what the theme of this video was supposed to be. I think it was something about Reapers. And I was going to talk about a game where someone implemented a Reaper build that worked a lot better. However, I did some research on this build, and I kind of want to change the theme of this video more towards this build that I've seen out of TS... I'm going to try that one. Tobiesta? And this is actually a build that's going to be the thumbs up link today. I'll put a link to the Team Liquid thread on it. It's quite an interesting build. It's another tank-free Terran build, which is pretty rare. And the person who did the write-up said he was he's like a mid to high Masters Terran player, and his TvT win rate was around 45% until he started playing with this build, and now it's up to like 70%. So it's quite effective. So basically what it is, it's a Scout Reaper into Mass Reapers, and then you follow up with Ghost Marauder. And it works pretty well. The Reapers give you a lot of harass and tons of information, and then the Ghost Marauder actually complement each other very well. I mean, one does bonus to light, the other does bonus to armored. There's no real hard counter that beats both of them. And yeah, and Snipe's pretty awesome once you got it. And obviously Ghost does really well versus Banshee. So I'm actually going to recognize this build as I've faced it before this match, but I'm going to decide to continue to play exactly how I normally do. I don't want to metagame it. I want to see if I can actually, if my one port Banshee build can actually hold up to it. So I'm going to be building my Scout Barracks to float in to see what he's up to at the same time. Kind of moving out my first Marine to take the Xel'Naga Tower. One little trick here, if you take a forward Xel'Naga Tower, you can see the push coming. It means you don't need any defense at your ramp. It means you can put your defense up here and down here to block any sort of Reaper harass. And I did catch the Reaper coming in, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Looks like I was going to put both Marines there. I decided to split them up since I know that Reaper has a little bit of damage on it. I figured I can just kill it with one Marine. And I figured wrong. He does a little damage and gets out. He actually snipes the one making the starport, which is really smart. It slows down my tech. And at the same time, there's my Scout Barracks, and he's seeing that there's 3 Tech Lab Barracks all pumping Reapers, so I know that the Mass Reaper follow-up's coming. So, unfortunately, with the 1-1-1 build, you have nothing really to beat it, so I decided to put a Tech Lab in my factory just to make a tank, because at least a tank can do well versus Reapers. Taking the forward towers is to know it's incoming, and not sure if that's smart. I may want to keep every Marine I can at home. Because Marines, Hellions, Banshees, well, I guess Banshees would be okay, but it would be probably too late. So here comes the Reapers, 5 of them. And I assume it's coming in this side, so I'm actually pulling some SCVs to fight with this. Here he comes in the front. And unfortunately, that's a lot of dead SCVs. That defense did not work out well, so this little harass not only is getting full vision on my base, but he's just killed a ton of workers. 13 of them. There's my tank. Welcome to the party. Could have used you about 10 seconds ago. So that's the end of the Reaper harass, and my first Banshee is out. But you can see now he's transitioning into Marauder and Ghost. Now I don't know why, but they go Marauder first. If it were me, I would think get the Ghost first, right? And store up the energy, then add the Marauders, but maybe there's some certain reason why you have to have Marauders for defense at this point. So the fallout to this build is a Ghost Marauder push. And obviously, like Marauders and Concussive Shells just massacre any sort of blue flame drop, and Ghosts do quite well versus Banshee harass, as long as you get 2 of them out in time. He only has 1. Ghost will lose 1-on-1 to a Banshee. There's the EMP. I don't even get the cloak. I don't even try to fight back. I'm just trying to put some damage on these SCVs, but I think I killed nothing there. 1 kill. Let's point them back. I'm actually going to set up a little repair station right here so I can repair up this Banshee clump. Got my siege tank out in the field. That might not be a good idea. Here comes the Marauder ghost push. Actually, by the fact I have my siege tank out here, I probably wasn't aware of his follow-up. Run away. Oh my god, what happened there? I think I was running him away then. Oh, maybe I sent him back to just to see if I could clip the tower one more time before I left. I wanted to see what I was up against. I probably didn't catch it. Nice repair station. The Banshee's totally out of position. And I got a second Banshee here doing absolutely nothing as well. So, not my best micro game. Or if I do see the Banshee, this is probably the one smart thing I did this match. Notice how I'm not attacking yet. I actually put the Banshee right on top of the ghost before I start attacking. And I stay there. Move on top of the ghost. Now check this out. EMP to see me? Check out the energy level on the ghost. He just EMP'd all his ghosts into the try. So that's a little trick you can use if he's using Ghost Defense versus Banshees. Just sit your Banshee on top of an orbital command or sit on top of his ghosts, and if he decides to use EMP, he's going to be destroying his own energy levels as well. But again, really sparse. So I got Marines still out of position. I should have them in this bunker. And he doesn't have the energy for EMP, so that worked out well. Unfortunately, no Marines in that bunker, and those Marauders are just going to cut right in. They still probably would have done the similar damage with 3 Marines in there, but still got low damage. Imagine putting that siege tank. That was like my desperation defense. That does not work well. There's that many Marauders in impact. Just so powerful versus armored Sim Marauders. Yeah. Finally realizing I have these Banshees out in the field. I'm sending them in, same time trying to float my base away. I think I lost my orbital. That's bad. Cleaning up with the Banshee here at the same time, trying to get in here and do some damage. Looks like I lost that one there. I do have one more that's been sitting here for the last 5 minutes. And yeah, there's my SCV count of 2. And a burning factory. I'm not sure if I saw that push coming out, but I did have a Banshee here. It's probably best to go for the counterattack anyways. So it looks like his mining is completely shut down, which is nice. But at the same time, he is heading into my base. I did have some money stored up, so I could be making Banshees, but I'm not. And it looks like this is going to turn into a big base trade situation here. It does have 2 orbitals with lots of energy on them. But I think that's pretty smart, and I'm making Viking something, you know, if my Banshees can kill his ghosts, then I can float my buildings from his Marauders, but he cannot do anything if I get Viking on the field to save his structures. So I'm like, all I gotta do is get rid of this ghost pile. And honestly, there wasn't much excuse to lose this game, in that we bring up the units tab, which was already up there for a second. Yeah, it's 3 Banshees versus 4 Ghosts. And one of those Ghosts has 28 hit points, one of those Ghosts has lost about 25 hit points. So really, if I just fight them straight up with 3 Banshees, I win. I kill that army. And then there's nothing the Marauders can do versus my Viking and Banshees, as they'll eventually take all that stuff down. So, it's my game to lose here, and I took that option. First of all, you can't lose this Viking. Okay. I'm like, this is all important. I don't even need to use this Viking yet. I can just kind of keep it somewhere safe. I think I even stuff it in the corner here. And then all of a sudden he starts picking off my benches one at a time. What are you doing? Fight back! He doesn't have enough for EMP. Maybe he does now. No, he has a scan. He dropped one of those command centers. It looks like I tried to hide, but I'm not quite far enough away, not getting picked off. So now I can't win this battle. 4-on-1? No way. So at this point, I gotta use my cloak to finish off his structures, or to finish off his ghosts. And it looks like he had more scan left, and that is good game, I think. Not much I can do here. Other thing is he still had a lot of SCVs, so yeah, without dominating the air, he was actually able to land this stuff and restart his economy. Had I taken out all the ghosts, though, this wouldn't have mattered. I would just be able to shut this down easily. I think it takes me a moment to actually realize I have to quit. Oh, I see what I'm doing here. Trying to get back into the game with my one remaining command center, but that's a lost cause. Anyways, so with that is the I didn't cover it in depth, but there's if you check the Team Liquid thread, there's a really in-depth breakdown of how the build works, as well as a video going over some examples of using the build versus various Terran strategies. So that is like the Reaper Scout into Mass Reaper into the Ghost Marauder push. And to end this video, why not? When I was screwing around the ladder, I ran into this build again when I was doing my triple nuke build. So we can see how the triple nuke does against this build for a complete ridiculousness. Alright, so here we are on Typhon Peaks. This is GG Gideon, the red Terran spawning in the bottom left, and I'm the blue Terran Ketroc spawning in the top right. I guess one other thing you can check the description for is like a rough overview of my build order for this triple nuke build. I still don't think it's a serious build and that they can get like a decent amount of wins. Right now it's I don't know, I think I'm like 2-15 with it or something so far on the ladder. Given some of those losses were when I was really had a rough idea of what I was doing. It's obviously a little crisper now, but still, it's too luck based, you know, because like, you know, he's walled off. It's like, okay, now I need a medevac. You get a medevac, and it's like, oh shoot, he's got coverage of his base. Okay, now I have one production facility, and he's like macroing hard off of 2 bases, taking his third. So it's reliant on. I think it'll do good if the Terran's doing some sort of attack on you, be it Banshees or Blue Flame Drop. But if he just kind of sits back and macros, you can have rough shape unless he just lets you in. So again, with my build, I'm sending out a Marine to the Farzal-Naga Tower. That gives me vision of when a push is coming, which means I can send the rest of my Marines to air spots like this and try to guess the jump-in zone from Reapers. When I do this nuke drop, I don't actually, or when I do this fast triple nuke, I don't do the Scout barracks just because it slows it down. So I'm just kind of guessing Reapers. Again, there's nowhere else I need to have my Marines at this moment, so I may as well try to guess the Reapers. And I think that's most likely jump-in zone. This place is too close to my front. This seems like the weakest area. And there you have it. That worked out pretty well for me. So obviously the next stage of this build is going to be Mass Reaper. And he's doing a pretty good job of actually hiding his structures. I don't know why Terrans don't do this more often. If I do a typical scan right here, I may end up seeing nothing. And then obviously hiding his Reapers as well. You don't want those things showing up in the scan. I also don't want my ghost showing up in the scan, but I can't think of a place like somewhere where my ghosts are close by and handy in case of some sort of like drop harass or frontal assault, but at the same time hidden from scans. I'm like, you know where people may not even see them? Is if I just throw them right in the middle of my mineral line. It kind of just blends in with the junk here. So that's where I keep them now. And obviously that's, if I'm hotkeyed, I can pull them out quickly, and if he comes in for Banshee harass, this is kind of like the ideal spot anyways. So that's where I'm keeping my ghosts. And here comes the Reapers. Looks like he's coming along the right side here. And he'll be hopping up on the left. I got one weak Marine left there. That's not going to do so well. I got one shot off. That's better than 0. But now it's 4 Reapers versus 3 Ghosts. And that is that. Ghosts are not light, so Reapers do nothing to them. Ghosts do bonus to light, so they slaughter Reapers. Plus, you know, there's that money snipe. Let me back up for a touch. I want to talk a little bit about my build order. So basically, you want to get your 2 gas up pretty soon. You know, take the 1 gas, like, you know, normal barracks timing and gas timing. Wait till you flush out his scout, and then take your 2nd gas. Also around that time, you want to take your Ghost Academy as soon as possible. So basically, you want to get about 3 Marines out of your barracks, then build a tech lab on the barracks, and hopefully by that point, the Ghost Academy will be halfway done its energy upgrade. So here's a tech lab. I don't like having this barracks as part of the wall off. I don't actually remember my reasoning for that. Just because I guess of siege attacks like blowing through the front line, I don't like having it there. Plus, I don't know. It just seems, if I need a bunker here too, that's obviously available now. So you start that ghost once you have this halfway complete. I believe I fixed this up. Maybe I build my first ghost without energy, but sometimes I'll notice I timed that wrong, so I'll wait until this is 40 seconds, and then I'll just cancel this ghost and restart it. Which just looks like I just did. There we go. See, now it's going to finish in 35 seconds, where this is going to finish in 30 seconds, so just in time. Actually, that's really tight. 19, 20, 21. Okay, yeah, that'll work. It's just going to spawn with extra 25 energy. And then you just want to produce from this barracks non-stop until you get your 3 ghosts. After that, your next priority isn't actually a factory. I did this in the wrong order. I'm still kind of just messing around with this build. Well, I'm not even messing around with it, but it's just really, really sloppy. Your next priority after the factory is actually your command center, which I'm building now, but had I built it first, then this actually prevents me from getting supply capped at 35, as this will add on the extra supply once I hit 35. And then after command center, you want to get an engineering bay, and after engineering bay, then you want to get your factory. And all while not stalling this production here. Keep those ghosts coming. So I'm going to have to actually stall my SCV production just because this is not ready to be... Oh, no, never mind. I threw down an extra supply depot because my command center was late. Once your factory is about completing, that's probably a good time to throw a scan on his base. Your minerals should be alright at that point, and you can get a rough idea of whether he's going to be walled off or not. Like just based on if he already has like a couple of supply depots here, or whether he's already walled, or whether he has nothing. And if it appears like he's going to be walled off, your next priority is going to be starport, because you're going to need to get that medevac to transport in. If it's not, then just get down your 2 ghost academies, 2 extra ghost academies, because you're going to be skipping starport and just walking right into his base. So just to review, you want to get 3 ghosts as soon as possible. Well, 3 ghosts is wait till your energy upgrade and the ghost academy is halfway done. Get the ghost academy as soon as possible. Then you get your 3 ghosts as soon as possible. Then after that, your order is command center, engineering bay, factory, and scan. If you think he's walled off, get a starport and your 2nd and 3rd ghost academy. And then get a medevac. Medevac first with your gas, then get these nukes as you're en route. If he isn't walled off, then just get the 2nd and 3rd Ghost Academy and start sending your ghosts out and researching the nukes at the same time, so when you arrive, you can get in there. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention too, you gotta keep this first Ghost Academy super active. As soon as it's complete, energy upgrade. And then as soon as energy upgrade is complete, you want to get the personal cloaking field. I should have it queued up right now, but I don't. Okay, there we do. Because this actually takes a long time, because then after cloaking field, it still has to get the cloak. So even if you go one right after the other, like had I started the nuke right now, that's another 60 seconds. That just gets my nuke ready for 9 minutes and 15 seconds. And if you want to be nuking his base at 10 minutes, that means you got to have very little inactive time on this Ghost Academy. So that's me talking about the build. Let's kind of get back to the game. So the Mass Reaper did see my ghosts, but sorry, I'm doing a lot of backwards and forward. I haven't actually seen this replay in a while. This is a little bit late. Obviously, if I had the command center earlier, I would have had this planetary earlier. And I don't put it in a proper spot. I put it in a spot where I can mine a little bit at my natural, but it's mostly to protect my ramp. I want to make it so he can't just walk into my base. Pushing out here, I did notice he's cleared the Zelnaga, so I've already cloaked my ghosts. I don't want him to be spotted. And now he's pushing out with his Marauder ghost push. There's the ghost behind. My one ghost a little bit light just from doing that early sniping. Maybe you shouldn't actually snipe versus Reapers. That is not necessary. So it's only got 40 energy, and it's got to get the nuke off before then. Another thing you probably want to do is send out some SCVs to like distance mine here, even if you're not fully saturated in your main, because you need the SCVs here to repair your planetary fortress. So it looks like he's the first Terran ever smart enough to do this. He actually moves the command center out of the way, and it's only going to take a little bit of damage from the last two, or from the last one. So he survived, and at the same time, has he pushed yet? They look a little weak. Here they come. Not really going to work. He's using the ghost to snipe the repairing SCVs, which is smart. I have one ghost extra of my own, and it looks like he's going to be able to hold. I did get it pretty weak, but he's only got 4 Marauders left. It looks like he's actually focusing the SCVs. Too late for that. And I even called down 2 mules to help repair. So that held. Did not get his base though. It looks like he's burning, but he should be fine. I think he even pulled his SCVs to his hidden second. So that worked out okay. So what I thought was actually pretty good positioning my fortress, where it's kind of close to this stuff but still protects my ramp, ended up being the worst position possible, because now this bottom little hex of this planetary is preventing me from building like the properly placed command center. So yeah, I basically have this building as far away as possible from the minerals, but still blocking me from getting a proper command center. So I'm going to have to take my third and just, you know, crappily distance mine from this thing. And yes, crappily is a word. I don't care what anyone says. I have no transition for this build, so I just, like, I don't know, let's get my starport now, and throw down some barracks, and maybe we'll do some bio play. And keep pumping SCVs. SCVs are always a good thing. So it looks like he's moving out again with some Marauders. Same time, I probably should have my triple nuke. Yep, that looks like I got 3 nukes here. Sorry, production tab, I know you guys like that. TMPing once again, and throwing down 3 nukes. You know, if you call down the nukes like all around the same time, he only gets 1 warning. And if you place him really close, you'll only see 1 dot. And this time, That goes down, and I may even get these supply depots. Come on, get the good one. Yeah! Now he's at 61. Well, I helped him get a little less supply cap by killing that SCV. But I'm going to run away. You can stick around and while you're cloaked and killed SCVs, but keep in mind you're going to lose these ghosts, which are super expensive, so you may want to save them while you still have cloak energy. And it looks like he's trying to put a push on here. I think he made me pull back here and he killed off this refinery, so he kind of took advantage of this weak zone down here. And I think he even sniped a ghost or two with this marauder, so nice little attack. He has not seen this base though, which is lucky for me because it is vulnerable at the moment. I guess I can just lift it up, but whatever. I don't know who won that exchange. Sorry, I shouldn't do that. I'll back up. We switch to my view here. Where's those ghosts? There they are.
Nuclear missile ready.
So you'll notice my selection is on the ghost, and then while I'm sniping, I didn't lose control of it. Okay, if you're going to do the method where you hold down R, basically you hold down R, and that way you can click as much as you want, and you'll never lose.
Upgrade
you'll never
complete.
take focus off your ghosts. But keep in mind when you hold R, it takes like a second before it starts spamming R. Like just like with any other application on your computer, if you hold R, it'll do one R, and then it'll pause, and then it'll start spamming Rs. You gotta wait for that pause to finish, and then you can start spam left clicking all over his stuff. Looks like I was doing it too quickly though, in that my ghosts were kind of like changing their mind. Like, should I shoot this guy? No. Should I shoot this guy? No. Like I haven't gotten it down yet where I can spam.
SCV ready.
Where I can spam snipe really fast.
Add-on complete.
So I'm basically going to speed through the end of this game. So this is just basically two people who have no transitions out of their builds. You can see my money is just skyrocketing. I have this game won. Like I've nuked his main. He's just restarting that. He's got this base, but basically I'm on. This is like half a base. This is kind of like half a base. This base is saturated and going, and then I'm actually going to take a fourth and a fifth as well. But it just takes me a long time to figure out what the heck I'm doing, and this money's actually going to get higher rather than lower. Decided to transition in just to Marines medevacs. I figured Marines would do good versus Marauders. Looks like he's dropping my main. I think I killed the wrong medevac. Yeah, the other one was loaded up. I think I did two drops. One is while I was doing the one here. I also hit the one in his expo. So I've taken his expo out. Although I think he saved his command center. So I'm well ahead. He finally catches these guys. They have a nuke loaded them. Just nuke at this point. If you're gonna lose these structures, just nuke. Like even just to freak him out, just make the noise. That's what I should have done. I tried to nuke his front, but that was obviously I was so close to taking that orbital. Why didn't I finish it? Man, Marine Zone 2 is good against Marauders as I thought. Or maybe he always just way outnumbered me. You can see my money's even getting higher, 5,000 over. Yeah, obviously I've never actually made it this far in this sort of game before. Usually I just like completely fail, or I just start going triple nuke, and a minute later another triple nuke, and a minute later another triple nuke. He just like, screw this, and leaves the game. Hello. That was typically only in custom games. I was playing easier people. On the ladder, it's been mostly me just like completely having no success with this whatsoever and leaving. I think I nuked like 4 or 5 supply depots here, just to kind of do something, and I had an available nuke, and I didn't really feel like there's another target. And yeah, okay, let's just put this up to 4x, because it's 5 base on 2. For mining bases, maybe 3 on 1. Although he probably still has stuff left in his main, since he has no mining. Basically, it's just me just losing battle after battle after battle until I finally like get enough units out with all that friggin' income I have. Like I'm finally throwing down some more barracks now. I also have to start making marauders because he just switched over to Blue Flame Hellions, which still does pretty well versus Marines. Still trying to nuke his front. It's hilarious how we're like 31 minutes in the game, we're both still just making nothing with bio. Now he does snipe one of my expos there, but not too big of a deal. I'm finally getting my production going. But I'm supply caps. And with that, finally a GG. And most fun TvT. I don't know if I would call that fun. Wasn't fun for me when I'm floating basically 10k, but yeah, I think that was a decent example of how my triple nuke build works and how it will do versus this build, and probably a great example of how not to transition out of my build. I guess my idea wasn't the worst ever. I saw a lot of a marauder heavy army. I have a ghost of my own, so I can EMP his ghosts. So I was like, well, I can just keep making ghosts from my tech lab barracks and just pump mass marine and then use my star part for medevacs, and that should do well versus ghost marauder. That was my idea. But I just didn't produce. You know, I'm sitting on all this money, and I got like, well, at the time I had maybe like 4 barracks going. I think I finally have a decent number now. I got 13. All with add-ons, but yeah, it took me a while to smarten up. Anyways, with that will be the end of this video, so I hope you learned a little bit about how awesome Ghosts and Reapers are. Reapers are amazing scouts, and if you get enough of them, you can catch your opponent off guard with some good harassment, especially versus a 1-1-1 build. Just because everything seems to be light. Marines, the Reapers do decent against. Hellions, Reapers do well against. Reaper beats 10. And obviously workers are just fodder for Reapers. And if nothing else, like if you go to that Team Liquid thread that's in the description, he's like, you know, if nothing else, you get a good scout. You get in there, you snipe like the SCVs they're producing as production structures, which slows them down, and then you get out. So it's not like you're expected to do a ton of damage, but at the same time you get lots of information, and you can slow them down some, and then you got your Ghost Marauder coming up, and you use that information basically to decide how many Ghosts, how many Marauders I want. You know, if he's going Thor or something, obviously you want to get more on the Marauder heavy side because Marauders smash Thors. If he's going Banshees, you want to get a lot of Ghosts. So if you see this build in the ladder, especially if it's like a Scout Reaper followed up by Mass Scout Reapers, you can almost guarantee he's going into Marauder Ghost. I thought of a couple hard counters to it if you're doing the 1-1-1. One is go straight to Battlecruiser. I don't know how that plays out in practice. I just know you can't kill a Battlecruiser with Ghosts and Marauders. The one thing I'm worried about is just the Marauder just like blowing into your base and ignoring the Battlecruiser. How long would it take the Battlecruiser to clean it up? But since you already have a starport with a tech lab, just grab the wow, what's that structure called? Help me out here. Dun, dun, dun. Why can't I think of it? Fusion Core. Yes, that's the one. just grab that, maybe get a second starport, and just wait until the fusion core is done, and then maybe you can probably be able to have enough money to build 2 battle cruisers right off the bat. The other hard counter is just go 2-port Banshee. Don't get Cloak, don't get an Expo, just 2-port Banshee. Just pile the Banshees as fast as possible, because a good number of Banshees will be able to beat Ghosts straight up, as long as you get enough of them. He may not expect it. Like, even if he sees you went Banshee first, he might just be thinking Harass, and you'll still get a good number of Marauders. But if he does like a typical mix like this guy did, like, you know, what was it, like 5 Ghosts, 8 Marauders, something like that, you can just overwhelm him with your Banshees. Because Banshees do beat Ghosts one-on-one. I think like 4 Ghosts on 3 Banshees would be like somewhere around even. So that's kind of the breaking point. So if he has 4 Ghosts and you got 4 Banshees, you take him out. Yeah, so I think I've babbled enough. So if you're interested in the Reaper into Marauder Ghost play, there's a link in the description which has a nice little video and a full write-up on it, and it got this Master Leagues player from a 45% TvT win rate up to 70%. One thing, if you're watching his video, he mentions, like, you know, don't do this if you're, you know, lower league, because it takes a huge amount of micro. Just ignore that. It does not take a huge amount of micro. You attack move, you stim, and then you just hold down R and snipe a whole bunch of stuff. That's all the micro there is to it. Maybe if you're trying to break and contain, there's this thing where you nuke, you wait until the siege tank's unsieged, and then you go blasting in with all your stimmed Marauders, and then you cancel the nuke. That's a little more difficult, but that's only one scenario if you're up against like a siege tank contain or siege tank turtle. Most regards, all you gotta do is attack, move, stim, and then hold down R and snipe everything. So with that, we'll call out the end of this replay session. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye.